Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the movie Cowboys and Aliens. Now, this came out in 2011 and is directed by Jon Favreau, who directed the Iron Man movies, Iron Man 1 and 2, and this is a decent enough movie. It's at about 2 hours, 119 minutes. It's a little bit better on the kind of action movie front than the other movie that I also reviewed, Wildcat, because this at least attempts to have fun with it a little bit. However, the biggest kind of obstacle is that it kind of meanders a little bit and tries to do all of these different kind of Western tropes in one. So that's why you kind of get a kind of scattered shot. Now you've got a lot of actors in here. You got Daniel Craig as Jake Lonergan. You got Harrison Ford as Dollarhide. You've got a Carradine in here as the sheriff. You've got Paul Dano as Harrison Ford's Dollarhide's son. You got Olivia Wilde in here. You've got Clancy Brown. You've got let me see. Sam Rockwell. You got Noah Ringer, who was Aang in M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. Walter Goggins is in here. There's a lot of people in here. However, they're gonna pretty much boil down to the certain kind of archetypes. This is like Cowboys and Indians kind of thing that was going on, except you got aliens now, so the Cowboys are on the back foot technology-wise, rather than being on the forefront of the technology. It is kind of interesting to think of what would happen in that scenario. The thing is that the movie kind of just stops there. I.e., this is very much the whole thing of Jon Favreau's got the toys and is able to go to boom, 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 banging them together, which at least works to be at least a little bit more fun than what was going on in Wildcat, because most of the actors seem like they're attempting to do stuff here. You've got grumpy Harrison Ford talking about Antietam and everything like that, trying to give a little bit of backstory for his character, because we've got Jake Lonergan as the reforming thief, but the thing is, he's got amnesia in the beginning, so we have to kind of work on that front. We've got Harrison Ford being the kind of really rough, bloodthirsty kind of cattle baron who is trying to learn what's going on because his son pretty much is the spoiled asshole, but the person that he utilizes is pretty much his right-hand man. Would like to be his son, and he kind of views him as that, and then at the end of the movie, him and his son kind of reconcile somehow, even though his son's a dick shit in the beginning and then gets captured by aliens, and then I'm like, where's the kind of character growth to get there? Noah's character is pretty much the small kid that has to grow up and deal with certain kind of stuff, gets like to kill one of the aliens as well. The aliens are the barest kind of thing possible. They're kind of buggish and have kind of like little arms, kind of similar to Independence Day ones, mixed with the weird kind of fucking thing that was in Total Recall on that one, dude. But they are looking for gold for reasons we don't really get much on that. Let me see. They're to mine Earth's gold. If they were just talking about utilizing the gold for advanced tech, which is something that we do nowadays anyway, that would have been more interesting. But evidently they also want to kind of like exterminate all life on Earth for whatever fucking reason. They're pretty much just cardboard to be the antagonist to give the plot kind of some momentum. I have not read the graphic novel, so it could be better in that adaptation, like of the original kind of story. This was just like, he got a big budget from Iron Man, was able to bring in a lot of star power and just fucking play with it. So he's like, I got one shot at this motherfucker, and then kind of went for it. So Daniel Craig, Jake, wakes up in the desert, like, what the fuck is this thing on my wrist? Of course, we get the whole kind of Western. These people are like, hey, could you point us to absolution or anything like that? Oh, he's got like an iron on him. Let's fucking like take him, keep walking. And then like kills them and takes their shit and everything. Gets into town. He's pretty much wounded. Clancy Brown is the preacher and sews him up and everything like that. Before they get out there, of course, we get Dollarhide's kid just shooting around and being an asshole, fucking around Sam Rockwell's character, Doc, and needs Evan going around collecting money and everything like that. And then Jake pretty much just like knees him in the groin. He's like, oh, fucking shit. And then shoots off randomly, which hits one of the deputies. And of course, he's got to get arrested. And they see that Jake Lonergan and arrests them both pretty much to let the marshals kind of sort him out. We see that Dollarhide's cattle are being watched over by this group of people. One of them gets drunk and pretty much tries to go and take a shit in the creek. And then this giant light kind of blasts him into the water, and we see that like all the cows and the rest of the people are dead. Dollarhide, pretty much at this point, Harrison Ford being grumpy Harrison Ford, which works. Like, at least they're giving it where it's like I'm just reading lines. No, he does what he does. It's like pretty much drawing and quartering this motherfucker to learn what's kind of going on. Like, and of course, his right hand pulls in and says, hey, your son's arrested and shit. And I finally gotta deal with this shit. Everybody pretty much converges on the town. We see Olivia Wilde's character is looking at him, trying to figure out what's kind of going on with Jake, really interested in him. And then, of course, we see the aliens come in and, like, start abducting people and everything. It's like, what the fuck? And, of course, he starts utilizing the wrist thing, which pretty much is very plot convenient. We do not learn that it is, like, mind-controlled until later on when Ella's like, I need you to drop the fucking thing. And then she's like, it responds to your thoughts and everything. It's like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this thing. She kisses him, his brain goes, whoop, and then I was like, oh, okay. As she utilizes pretty much predator thinking and pretty much has it to pretty much bomb blow up kind of thing. It's like, all right, we're using predator logic here with whatever. Only real alien that we get that has any kind of thing on is that as Jake's kind of going on, we learn that he stole from Dollarhide, had this gold. The aliens pretty much saw the gold, jacked it up. Abducted him and his wife. She pretty much got experimented on, opened up, and then dusted. They were going to do the same thing to him. That's how he got the first initial stab. But then he was able to shimmy off, take the thing, slash the dude, and have Scarface be his personal kind of antagonist towards the end because, okay. And that's how he gets the wrist thing because the alien, for some reason, decided to take that fucking thing off. And then that gets onto Jake. So they're kind of going around forming a posse, trying to see what's going on. Finds a fucking upside-down riverboat in the middle of nowhere. Alien kind of pops up, almost goes for the Noah kid. But the preacher's like, fuck you, buddy. Then gets fucking, like, fisted in the chest. And, of course, that kills his ass. And they're, like, losing people being like, that was fucking crazy. The preacher was also attempting to teach the doc dude to shoot, which he has his moment at the end to shoot, because that's his thing. Quiet dude who's fucked over in kind of life. They're just the archetype characters, which they don't really do much with. The actors do give a little bit of flavoring to them, but they don't have much there to kind of go on. So they're outnumbered, so they decide to pretty much go, keep kind of going on. Well, Olivia Wilde's character pretty much gets injured. They meet up with some Native Americans, kind of link up, get Jake high to get him to unlock his memories, because fuck it, that's kind of how that works, I guess. Because the plot needs to go forward, they pretty much decide to, like, alright, we're going to fight them at their base and everything and do what we can to get the people out of there. He also finds his old crew, kills the fucking leader, dude, gets Walter Goggins to pretty much work with his ass, and then brings them in as we get this final kind of shootout at the end, as they're pretty much distracting the people in the base to, like, kind of come out. And they destroyed their hangar, so that way they didn't have any air support. Jake kind of goes in, figures out where the people are. They kind of get them kind of out of this kind of fucked up kind of mental thing and their goopy kind of thing as well. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Before Olivia Wilde pretty much just, like, takes the thing, like, I got my bomb thing. Of course, Jake almost gets fucked over by Scarface, but Dollarhide has popped in and helped his ass out. They kind of buck out of there. Ship takes off. Olivia Wilde blows it up, and we see everybody go back to town. working out pretty well. Dollarhide has his nice moment with his son because he had a nice moment with the other dude who died and pretty much got bit and killed by one of the aliens. And said, "Oh, you're the son that I should have had," kind of shit, and acts kind of a little bit better, and a kind of unearned thing as he puts more responsibility on his son, Percy. And Percy's like, "All right, cool." He was acting like a dick at the beginning, and we've got no thing except for maybe the alien abduction, kind of like reset his ass from asshole mode. But that's about it. And then Jake kind of comes in. The sheriff's like, "Yeah, he died." And Dollarhide's like, "I could use a good man." Like, "Yeah, I'm sure you could." And then he just kind of like rides off. Pretty much telling him that she's in a better place, that he'd lost his wife, and of course, Ella as well. Yeah. That's about it. It works well enough. Daniel Craig as a cowboy, I would like to see a little bit more of, especially in a story where it didn't have every single kind of Western trope possible. If it was more focused on the asthmatic kind of gunfighter, figuring out what's kind of going on, going a little bit kind of further on that. There's just too much. They spread too thin, and it kind of meanders of them trying to figure out, oh, how do we plot figure this kind of out? We, of course, have... It's the middle kind of portion of the kind of posse trying to figure out where the places are, where the aliens are and where their people are, and then gathering up all the forces to kind of fight the aliens. I wish they had kind of worked that out a little bit better, because it's a little bit more clumsy than I would have liked. It needed to work a little bit more organically, because it's always hard to get a technologically inferior race to make it more believable that they take out the technologically advanced superior one without doing some weird ass crazy shit. If you're going like EMP route or trying to figure out what's kind of going on that kind of route, it's not impossible, but you got to do a little bit more legwork than what was kind of going on here, where they're just technically blew up their hangar, and then it's like, all right, that's it. And we only had really like the bug aliens, and then Ella was an alien. It's like, yeah, they did the same shit to my race, and I don't want them to do it here either. It's like, all right. You got any other tech or anything that could, like, level the playing field? Oh, you kind of died and get put on a fire and then kind of, like, resurrect like a phoenix. Okay. And you could speak like Apache or whatnot. Alright, cool. So, it's decent enough as, like, if anything, I would almost call it a baseline Western movie. But there are better Westerns to kind of get into and go through that have better kind of characters, development, what kind of goes on with them. This is just your bare kind of... This would almost be like when I talk about like video games and RPGs to like get you into your first kind of turn-based RPG or whatnot. This would actually be a good one to get people into Westerns. Like... Point out the tropes and everything, point out the kind of characters that are the kind of hallmarks, and then see which ones kind of resonate with the person, and then kind of go a little bit deeper to go into those ones with better kind of Western movies that showcase those or focus on them. Like if you want a lot of good stuff of like gathering the heroes for certain kind of things, you got your Magnificent Seven. If you're into the kind of heist, man with no name kind of stuff kind of going on, or the kind of backstabbing that goes on with the good, the bad, and the ugly, dealing with turning two rival gangs against each other, fistful of dollars, all different kind of ones. This is your, like, if anybody told me what a Western was, this would be like the baseline kind of one, even though you're like, but it's a sci-fi one. Yeah, but it's more of a basic Western than anything with a sci-fi kind of going on with it. Sci-fi is just the bare sprinkling. Like, if you squint and kind of shift it a little bit, you could like pretty much brush off the sci-fi stuff. Kind of like salt or kind of pepper or whatnot. It's not like when you get a burger and you're like, I would like no mustard, please, and then there's mustard on there. You have to like drench the goddamn fucking thing in whatever other sauce that you want to try and hide the fact that there's mustard on it, but you're not hiding the fact that there's mustard on it. And no matter amount of much of scraping, he's gonna fucking fix that shit. That onions, pickles. That contaminates the shit. You ain't getting that off. That isn't the case here. You could pretty much just ignore anything going on with the sci-fi kind of elements, and you're like, how could you do that? Put it to, industrial tech stuff. Like they've got some kind of crazier kind of industrial tech stuff. You don't want to go Wild Wild West kind of shit. Wow. Kenneth Branagh, Will Smith, Kevin Kline. That's crazy that movie got made. And again, that's crazy kind of sci-fi elements, but it's still more kind of Western than sci-fi. Yeah, I don't think that anybody would be really adverse to this. Action works out pretty well enough. Characters are enough there that it's not complete cardboard cutout, but it's like half a step away from cardboard cutout. And lore world building is just bare kind of minimum. Like, if you want something to watch, you can get this. If it's on or whatnot, definitely on in the background, just noise. About 2 hours, so take it with what kind of time you are. But if you want to watch something else or interested in something else, definitely go to that before this. So those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.